Welcome to Art Scene, produced for you by the Arts Council of the Conejo Valley. We're very glad you could join us this evening as we keep you in touch with the arts all around the county.
We have a great program on tap for you. Something a little different as together we go behind the scenes at the movies. So I invite you to stay with us as we highlight exhibits, plays, concerts, and chat with some of our special guests.
For a more complete listing of events, programs than we ever have time for to cover, we invite you to pick up a copy of our companion publication, Art Scene. It's available in arts venues, city halls, libraries, chambers of commerce, hotels, or for the ultimate convenience, you can call 805-381-2747 and it will magically appear in your mailbox.
Or locate us on our website at conejoarts.org, where you'll find listings and links for concerts, exhibits, plays, classes, workshops, auditions, and much more.
Phew. Well, regarding our special guest this evening, we're very pleased to welcome Cathy Foley Clark, whose grandfather, Jack Foley, crafted a career as a sound technical expert. We'll be speaking with her about her grandfather's interesting life in the movies and the techniques he developed.
Then we'll be treated to a demonstration of some of the unusual ways Jack Foley devised to enhance sound for the movies and greater enjoyment of the movies for us all. But first, we go to some calendar highlights. So you're up, Chad.
Okay. The Simi Valley Cultural Arts Center presents Disney's Beauty and the Beast through April 2nd with performances on Fridays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 2 p.m. Featuring elaborate costumes, riveting choreography, and those wonderful Disney melodies, Beauty and the Beast is the perfect show for the entire family to enjoy together. For more information, call 805-583-7900.
Cabrillo Music Theater presents Forever Plaid, March 24th through April 2nd in the Countrywide Performing Arts Center at the Thousand Oaks Civic Arts Plaza. Screamingly funny, entirely enchanting, utterly entertaining, awesome. Forever Plaid will put a smile on your face, a song in your heart, and a tap to your feet. Stroll down memory lane with this amazing production. For more information, call the box office at 805-449-2787.
On Friday, March 3rd, from 5 to 8 p.m., the Ventura County Museum of History and Art presents Island Passages. Artists celebrate the Channel Islands in the Hoffman Gallery. You can meet the Channel Islands artists and see how their island experiences inspired environmental sculpture. Tide pool pastels, pinhole photographs, plein air landscapes, welded steel assemblage, photomontage explorations, and photorealistic views, and much more. For reservations, call 805-653-0323, extension 10.
And we're back. But before we meet Cathy Foley Clark for an in-depth look at her grandfather's giant contribution to the world of sound and movies, let's introduce you to him by reading a bit from his Lifetime Achievement Award presented by the Motion Picture Sound Editors in 1997.
He was born in the 1890s, just as silent films had their commercial beginnings. A Coney Islander, he went west in search of better weather and bigger dreams. After World War I, he became a location scout for the unspoiled vistas that graced so many of Hollywood's early offerings. While his first job in Hollywood was as a stuntman, within a short time he was writing and directing films. As sound began to change the nature of motion pictures, Jack was chosen as a technical volunteer. Since he had once worked for the telephone company, well, it was reasoned he must know something about sound. Through creativity and invention, Jack defined, refined, and made unique the work of the earliest sound effects artists and film orchestras as well.
Well, now we welcome his daughter, Cathy Foley Clark, to our program. Welcome. It's so nice to meet you.
Granddaughter.
It's granddaughter.
I am.
Very nice to meet you.
Your early memories of this. Well, first of all, your grandfather is an adjective and a verb.
He's an adjective, a verb,
adjective,
and a noun.
in the motion picture industry. I mean, we say, let's Foley this, Foley that, or somebody, a plane flies over and somebody goes, free Foley, it's just sound effect.
They say there's Foley sound, which is the adjective, Foliate, which is
Foley
the
that,
verb.
right?
Yeah, and then Foley, who's the man I knew and loved. That's the noun.
Yeah.
Well, which leads us into your early memories of your grandfather and growing up in Hollywood. Can you talk about that?
He was Grandpa. I knew he made funny sounds in the kitchen with toys that he would pull out of the drawers, but I didn't know exactly what it was all about because I was very young. But I loved spending time at the studio with him. It was at Universal, which was a very small studio at that point. Everybody knew everybody.
Just like now.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like a little city in itself. It was like a little. It was just wonderful. My memories are very fond. I was born on his birthday, a girl, the first grandchild, so naturally very spoiled. So I would spend birthdays with him at the studio.
That's Grandpa's job.
It's Grandpa's job, that's right, that's right. But we would have lunch in the commissary with the celebrities and with people who were just people to me, you know, and to him too. He loved people, so whether you did this or that, it didn't matter to him. And I would visit the sets, visit the different production companies, visit the sets.
Did you ever get to help him make the sound effects?
I didn't know what he did, honestly. I really didn't know what he did. I knew we'd go and he'd tune in and then talk to the music director and then, you know, leave and go back to his bungalow and do whatever. But I really didn't know what he did, other than I thought he was a social secretary.
How did he actually invent the sound effects that bear his name?
I don't know that he invented them. When he was at Universal, they were doing Showboat. This was in like 1928 or 29. Down the hill at Warner Brothers, they were filming the first Soundy that was going on. And
Soundy?
Soundy, with sound in it.
Al Jolson.
Yes, with Al, yes. And Universal said, you know, hey, we got to do something about this. And they actually recruited and asked people who would be willing to volunteer, come in and give their hand at sound. He had worked for the telephone company in New York. So he said, you know, hey, I'll give it a try, and that was the beginning. He did the Showboat, which is a little archaic compared to what they have now, but that was the beginning of it. He loved it.
Still works.
And it still works. After all these years, it still
Yeah,
works.
yeah. What films did he work on?
The only two that I know of, more recent ones, are Spartacus, where he was the sound of the soldiers marching. At the end of the movie, they have the soldiers marching, and Stanley Kubrick wanted a sound effect that was different, that wasn't just marching feet. So this is what I remember, because I was old enough to know what he was doing at that point. But he had keys to all the children's homes and the grandchildren. And we had a Formica kitchen table, and he would sit with the keys and do this, and that's the sound you hear.
Armor,
The armor. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then the famous submarine, which I hesitate to talk about because it's a bit delicate, but in Operation Petticoat, the submarine that sounds like it's suffering terribly is actually my grandfather burping. A deep, deep burp. That
was strange. Still that #1 engine. I guess they were never able to fix that.
Okay, we've gone that far. We've gone far. Okay, that's great. Kathy. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Too much,
Okay.
just to close friends.
How has the Foley art developed, and where is it today, in your opinion?
You know, it's all over the world. It really, at the awards show, we received the Lifetime Achievement Award for him.
Right.
And at that show, I met a lot of people. I was so nervous, I don't remember all their names, but it kind of created
God, don't forget them, because they'll come back and haunt you. We all know that.
It created a bit of a dominoes effect. I had calls from Canada over the years, Japan, Ireland, the UK. We just did a radio show for UK, an interview that was repeated by popular demand actually a month ago. AMC, we've done a show. NPR, we won a Peabody show for the Foley show that was done. It's just spread like, I don't know why. I don't know why.
Well, you know, as we said, Foley has become kind of a worldwide phenomenon, an expression, actually, is a better word. Why do you think? Why do you think that is? I mean,
I wish I knew. It's a really technical thing.
I mean,
well, you know, when he was at Universal, it was a small group. He was terribly friend and family oriented. He loved people. When Revue bought out Universal in, I think it was 1950, he and his men kind of went separate ways because Revue brought in their own people. So the expression I've heard and I've grown to use is that these people were his disciples. You know, they went to this studio and that studio, and they'd say, okay,
How many were
let's do
there?
this one. I don't know. It's not in the
make sure there
Bible.
wasn't 13. No, just want to make sure there wasn't 13.
I
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah.
But then it just grew. I think it's an easy expression. He certainly didn't create sound. He was one of the sound pioneers, but he's not a creator. But I think it's just one of these things that happened. It's easy to remember, and it's like worldwide now. You know,
And have you ever wanted to take on the family business yourself?
I haven't until I started doing this. This is like a full-time job. I get telephone calls.
You're carrying on the history
I
of the
have
name.
2 cousins who have their children who are in their 20s who are really want to become Foley artists and are out to do that right now. So hopefully it'll carry on.
There is an artistry to it.
There's a talent, a real genius to it.
Yeah.
Watching these guys work, and the ladies, I haven't seen the ladies, but I've seen the guys at Universal. It is so intense and so physical because they're totally glued onto the screen while they're doing the sound effects to fit into the picture, and it's very, very physical.
The Foley
Well, we're
stages
gonna-
are really incredible to look at.
We are going to take a break here now with some more calendar highlights, and when we return, we'll be joined by Foley artist Michael Lyle, who's going to create familiar sound effects with actual demonstrations. Cathy, this is wonderful
Thank
and
you.
fascinating.
My pleasure. Thank you very
Chad,
much.
you're on.
Come back on, back again. Okay. Performances to Grow On presents Manding Jata Sunjata Theater. Music and Dance of West Africa, Saturday, March 11th at 7 p.m. in the Sher Forum Theater. Sunjata tells the inspirational story of a prince born unable to walk and how through courage and belief he became the Lion King of Mali. For more information, go to www.ptgo.org or you can call 646-8907.
The Arts Council of the Conejo Valley is presenting a workshop for emerging artists from 6 to 9 p.m. on Tuesday, May 2nd. At this workshop, artists will learn about presenting their artwork to the public in a gallery setting. The workshop will conclude with the opportunity to participate in an exhibit at the Hillcrest Center for the Arts Galleria. For more information, a registration form is in the Art Scene publication, online at conejoarts.org, or call 805-381-1246.
CLU Music and Theater Arts Departments joined together to present Mozart in Love, a collection of operatic scenes, in honor of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's 250th birthday. CLU's first ever opera workshop, under the direction of Angela Price, will explore Mozart's clever takes on love and life. Performances are March 2nd through the 4th. For more information, please contact the music department at 805-493-3306.
The Oaks Chamber Singers, under the direction of Annette Murphy, return to St. John's Seminary Chapel, Camarillo, Sunday, March 12th at 4 p.m. to present William Byrd's a cappella Mass for 5 voices. Also in the concert will be sacred arias with harp and cello, plus the music of Morton Lawrenson. Open to the public. Call 805-499-1913 for more information.
The Conejo Children's Theater presents E.B. White's classic children's story Charlotte's Web, Saturday and Sunday, March 4th, 5th, 11th, and 12th, with performances at 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. Conejo Players Theater is located at 351 South Moore Park Road in Thousand Oaks. For all the details, call 805-495-3715.
The New West Symphony presents pianist Marc-Andre Hamelin performing 2 concertos by Shostakovich. Also on the program for the orchestra, under the baton of Maestro Boris Brott, is the music of Ibert and Hindemith. Enhance your going experience by attending the pre-concert dinners and informances at both venues. Identical 8 o'clock p.m. concert on Friday, March 10th in the Oxnard Performing Arts Center and Saturday, March 11th at the Countrywide Performing Arts Center at the Thousand Oaks Civic Arts Plaza. For more information, call 800-NEW WEST. Welcome. It's so nice to meet you and so nice to have you here.
My pleasure.
It's exciting. This is an adventure.
Good.
Michael?
Worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah, that's it.
How the hell did you become a Foley artist?
I became a Foley artist. I'm a lifelong musician, and I was actually looking for
What do you play?
something. I'm a drummer. Oh, yes. And I was looking for something to do with music in the movies. And I went on an exploration of jobs in the film industry, and I thought, just from reading the credits, I looked at the end of the movie, I'd see music supervisor, sound effects editor, music editor, and I actually started out wanting to be a music supervisor or music editor. And I took a class at UCLA Extension. What they told me in the class was do anything you can to get your foot in the door. I got a call from a temp agency to do a data entry job at Universal Studios, which I took. It was the job no one wanted to do, but it was in the sound department, and some of the editors kind of took me under their wing and guided me, and they suggested that I go in the direction of sound effects. Foley goes hand in hand with sound effects, and sort of to make a long story short, that was what led me into Foley, and being a lifelong percussionist and being used to rhythms and altering sounds, it was sort of a natural fit. But I'm at Universal now, but I would say from the time I started my data entry position there to the time when Universal asked me to come on staff, that was probably a 7-year period. And
You've won a couple Emmys, I understand.
Those little things.
I was credited with work on 61 HBO Billy Crystal, which won the Sound Emmy, and then I won the Emmy for starring Pancho Villas himself, which had Antonio Banderas.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, we had a question. How does someone become a Foley artist? So the obvious answer is don't start out as a production assistant. They work too hard.
Well, no, someone could, because Foley's really hard work, and you essentially have to kind of apprentice yourself to someone who's willing to show you the ropes.
Right.
Did Foley sound, that originated in Hollywood, right? Hollywood,
Yeah.
California. Are
Yes.
there other exponents, people who do this all over the world?
There are a few. Most of them, I think there's around 50 or 60 of us making a living
That's
at it
all?
in Hollywood. Probably about 10 in New York City. There's a handful in Canada, maybe 6 or 7, 8 in England, a few in Australia. And every place where there's a big filmmaking industry,
Right.
there are probably a few, but in most of the locales, say in Asia, they don't do it nearly as intensely as
And
we
don't they
do it.
sometimes ship it back for post?
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
back to
yes.
Hollywood. Yeah, so Hollywood's still the hub.
That's this
Yes,
is
Hollywood.
where 90% of it is.
Yes.
And what do you see as the future of Foley, given the developments in digital recording? Do you think it's going to impact it?
I think the people who are proponents of digital have tried to replace us, but they haven't had much luck with it. So it's just what we do is way too specific to have cataloged in a library. So there's a symbiosis between sound effects editing and the art of Foley.
So natural sound always sounds like
Yes.
natural sound as
Yes,
opposed to something
exactly.
that came out of a
And
computer.
we're going to turn it over to you, but
Yeah.
I just have a
Yeah.
quick question before we do.
Right.
When you walk through life and you look around in life, do you see everything as a possible sound effect?
You really do, and it's so funny. I think there's a Foley God out there, because I can't tell you how many times I will be at home, and I live in a condominium complex, and there'll be a sound that I need to make the next day, and I'm wondering how I'm going to do it because I haven't seen anything on the Universal Foley stage. And when I walk to my car, there's this long line of trash cans, and there's always some piece
Yeah.
of junk sitting
Well,
there.
that's
It happens time and time
Well, that's the
again.
drummer in you, too. Okay, so now Michael has arranged the table for us now, and he's going to do some special effects for us, sound effects, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Michael. It's all you.
Okay, well, here I am. I am going to run through what I can of the infinite world of sound in 7 or 8 minutes. So I'm going to move quickly because there's a lot of stuff I'd like to show you. We do everything from real sounds. We have to replicate the exact sound that you see on camera, such as the sound of a policeman cuffing a criminal. You want to over-embellish everything, so we make the chains rattle really hard. We give nice ratchets, so when the cop grabs the criminal, you hear this. And that's the criminal walking away.
I feel incarcerated already.
So we'll do that. Things that we embellish. Someone standing, walking down a dark, spooky hallway, and all of a sudden a hand reaches out and grabs them. Well, a hand grabbing someone's going to sound like this. But we'll take something like a big glove like this and do, or we can use different parts of our body to get different sounds. I can grab my wrist, or I can hit my stomach.
So the glove embellishes.
It embellishes.
Yeah.
Same thing, one of my favorite props here are my boxing gloves. For fight scenes where people get hit, I'll hit myself with them.
That doesn't sound like Rocky.
Well, there was also added onto Rocky were celery breaking, chunks of meat being hit, everything under the sun. I can use the feather duster to get a bird flying away. You can also take gloves and slap them against your hand, but let's have a bird flying across.
Now that sounds like a bird. That sounds like
And
a bird.
so I've got a very sensitive shotgun mic right here that I use, and you know, we'll start it. As I said, notice the technique here where we started away and did a fade out.
Very nice.
Here, bolo tie. I could use this for, say, someone sliding down a rope, a rappel.
Having done that once or twice, that's what it sounds like.
And then you always, funny thing, cell phones that you see, cell phone opening, it sounds like that. But on TV, it sounds like that. So whenever someone opens a cell phone, we're actually closing it. Foley's secret there. Can all be mad at me for giving it away?
Oh, good. Okay.
Little tiny sounds. We have on the set, they're going for the actor's voice. So there's a lot of little sounds that won't get picked up, and that's where the embellishment comes in. So something like earrings off of a shelf. Medical.
Okay.
Doctors, the patients in a hospital. We do the TV show House, which is a medical drama. So when the patient's writhing around on the bed, we're adding this sound of the tubes.
That wasn't natural on ER?
No. And then when they're operating on the patient, how are we doing on time here? You'll always hear a lot of this stuff.
Yes, yes. MASH. MASH. You hear a lot of that, yeah.
Now let's see a cartoon. For some reason, there's something going on in the character's stomach and it's expanding.
Oh,
You'll
God.
hear. Let's see.
Ew. Okay.
Oh, I do a Law and Order show, so we have to go through lots of police tapes.
That isn't just picked up on the microphone?
Nope, it isn't. And especially,
This must keep you really busy.
yeah, it does. But no, the mic is going for the actor's performance.
Yeah,
so
sure,
that is the most important thing. If you're in a movie and you can't hear what the actor's saying,
Right.
it loses interest. How many times have you not been able to understand?
And a lot of them are
Listen,
body
can I
mics
ask you
anyway.
A quick question then. If there's a show, when the editor gives you that product, do you make the decisions on where you're going to enhance the sound, or does the film editor? Or the
No,
director?
the sound supervisor usually does that. A gooey effect for, say, an injection. Same thing, more stuff for medical dramas. We use our little vials and our syringes.
Jeez.
These,
I've worked on these kind of movies. I never knew that. Okay.
found
All right.
these at the 7-Eleven down the street where I was staying in Maui, and for items rolling down a conveyor belt, maybe, in a factory.
Okay.
So we'll get the notes from the supervisor, the director, whomever, and we'll see it, and we just start using our imagination. I've got a yo-yo here. One of my characters is always, one of the things he uses to intimidate people is he'll throw a yo-yo in their face, and I've got to actually do it to sync.
What
and
character
get the
is
spin.
that?
Dr. Gregory House.
Oh, okay.
One of my favorite. Oh, and another thing with the boxing gloves. Say you have, get rid of some of this junk. Say you have the cops.
You know what?
grabbing-
This is the reason why I don't clean up my garage. I might have a future
This
here.
is what a Foley stage is like.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say you have the cop in a bar grabs someone and throws them on the table. We use the boxing glove.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. No,
Wow.
that's great.
And then you could, slide whistle, little comedy effect, guy going up and down.
Oh, that's going way back, isn't it?
It's a cartoon thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do cartoons.
Oh, you do
well,
cartoons too?
Yeah, yes you do.
Okay.
Of course
Yeah,
you do.
Sure
yeah.
do. Yeah, I was always, when I was a kid in class, I was always making, all these noises, and that was one of the things, the teacher said, well, you think
Well, you're a drummer. You're
Yeah,
used to
but
hitting things and making noises on
But
things.
it was the funny thing about it. Do you think you're going to be able to do that when you're 45 years old and
Okay.
working? And well, yes, I am.
We want to thank our guests, Cathy Foley Clark, and, of course, you, Michael Lyle, for sharing with us the whole wonderful world of sound effects. And we want to thank you for joining us this evening.
Remember to give the gift of the arts. The joy of the moment becomes a memory of a lifetime. So until next time, good night.
Good night.